Good day, this is Mrs. Venti. Welcome to my channel. This here is the grade 12 mathematical literacy video series. Today is the 10th of January and let's get started. I want to just let everybody know online, the way that I'm going to teach mathematical literacy for grade 12 is I'm going to assume that you don't know anything. That's just to make sure that if you have gaps, I'm going to over explain. So if there's something that you don't know, I will explain it. That way, it will improve your knowledge base. If you have any questions, please let me know and I will answer them to the best of my ability. What I want you to do right now is I want you to pause the video. I want you to read the question on the screen. So we've got question 1.2 and it is a total of 38 marks. And then we have Frank's Supermarket receipt on the right hand side with a lot of data on it. So pause. When you are done and you know what's happening, you can press play and we can start answering the questions. 1.2.1 says to us, name the non-vegetable item that is exempted from VAT. So mathematical literacy is all about words, and all of your questions are going to be word based, and you need to be able to understand what the question is saying to you. So the things that I want to highlight here is VAT. You need to know what is VAT before you can answer the question. I can't ask you something if you don't know what it is. So we're going to discuss what is VAT. You need to know what it means to be exempt from VAT. And then finally, you need to know what is a non-vegetable item. Okay. Once you understand all three of these things, you can look at the receipt and you can find what we are looking for. So let's talk about VAT and exempted from VAT. What is VAT? Value added tax, also known as VAT in South Africa, is a sales tax that is added to all purchases when you are buying certain goods and services. Why are they using the word certain? Because it doesn't apply to all. It applies to most, but not all. This tax that we're talking about is a form of taxation determined by the government, meaning that the money goes to the government. In South Africa, our value added tax is calculated. This is your formula. It's going to be 15% multiplied by the price of the good. Now, when you go to the store, you are going to see that there is a price tag. Let's say you want to buy something and it is 19.95 Rand. That is the price of the good in the shop. There are two words that you need to understand, and that is VAT inclusive and VAT exclusive. Is this amount inclusive of VAT? When you go to the shop, it says a loaf of bread is 19.95. Is this inclusive or exclusive? The answer is it's inclusive. Inclusive means that the price that you see, 19.95, already has VAT included. In South Africa, the price on the tag or the price on the sticker of the product is always VAT inclusive. You will see when we do invoices and quotations, they will specifically say including and excluding VAT. But if you just go to Pick n Pay and you pick up a product, the amount that you're going to pay is VAT inclusive. Now, that means that your price actually is, there's a formula. It says 100% plus 15% is equal to 115% value added tax. We'll come back to that formula. You don't need to understand it now, but just FYI. VAT inclusive is equal to the amount of VAT exclusive multiplied by 115%. What is VAT exclusive? If inclusive means that VAT is in, then exclusive means that VAT has not been applied. It's the amount without VAT. So under normal circumstances, this price is actually, you have your price excluding VAT plus the VAT, and that gives you the total including VAT. So total excluding VAT, this is the amount that the seller is charging you. The seller says, I want my bread to be 17 Rand. And then they say, okay, my bread's going to be 17 Rand. Then the government says, oh, add your value added tax, which is 15%. And then after value added tax, the amount is 19.95, which includes VAT. So understand excluding and including. The third thing I want you to understand is exempt. The word exempt means that the item, the product or the service that you're buying, is never charged VAT. It is VAT free. VAT exempt means it is VAT free. Now, what kind of goods are VAT free? Generally, they are your basic needs, things that you need. So here you can see our example as eggs. It will be your fruits, your vegetables, and your basic grocery items. When I gave you this example here, I was talking about bread. Bread, if you've ever been to the supermarket and you go buy your Albany or your Sasco or whatever bread in the packet from the factory, those bread items normally include VAT. But if you go to the bakery in Spa and you go buy that loaf of bread that is a whole loaf and you have to go to the machine to go and slice it, that loaf of bread is normally cheaper. And that loaf of bread does not include VAT. That one, especially the brown bread, is VAT exempt because it is an in-house product. Whereas if you are buying one from the factory, that one will include VAT. So now we understand what is value added tax. Great. Let's answer the question. We know what is VAT. We know what it means to be exempt from VAT. What is a non-vegetable item? Haha. Anything that's not a vegetable, right? So this question is relevant to our receipt. Let's see what's on our receipt. On our receipt, we have the details of the store, address, telephone number, VAT registration number. We have a statement about refunds. And then we have a list of the products we bought. Then we have our total, including VAT, total, excluding VAT. We know those words. Then we have the VAT amount in rands. We have the total amount due, that's rounded off, amount tendered. Tendered means handed in, and change is what the person gets back. Here at the bottom is where I want to be. Here's an item that says hashtag non-VAT items. Now on your receipt, on this one in particular, the way that you know an item is VAT exempt is because it has a hashtag. So our VAT exempt will either have a hashtag on the receipt or it will have an asterisk. But you see on the receipt, it actually tells you the meaning of it. So you will always be able to read which ones are VAT exempt. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items that are VAT exempt. Which of those 6 are non-vegetable? Carrots is a vegetable. Milk, not a vegetable. Sweet corn, tomatoes, onion, cabbage are vegetables. So my answer to question 1.2.1 is going to be, if I say VAT exempt, milk. That one is a non-vegetable VAT exempt item. Question 2. Determine the number of tins of value condensed milk bought. Okay, let's find the value condensed milk. So I'm going to erase this and I'm going to say, okay, value condensed milk, this is where you are. How many tins? Well, this receipt doesn't tell me. Now, what I need you to see is you see the prices over here, right? Notice that between each line, that is one item, right? And each line either starts or ends with a price on this receipt. So if organic carrots is there, it's $14.99. Then I have sugar, and sugar is 3 lines long. Can you see that? 1, 2, 3. And I know it ends here where the final price is actually typed. Value condensed milk is also 3 lines long. And that is kind of important for you to know, because you need to calculate for me how many cans of condensed milk are we talking about. So we are going to go from those 3 lines. First one tells me the name of the item. The next one tells me the price of one. So at means it is one item. Less promotion, 1 rand. Okay, how are we going to do this? We are going to say, this is question 1.2.2. We are going to say, if I want to know how many items a thing is, right? I normally say the total divided by the price for one gives me the total number, right? So if I use that formula, I would do total being 159.50 rands divided by 16 rands 95 cents for one, and that should give me the total for total number of cans. Let's try this. Hold on one sec. Now unfortunately my calculator is the whole screen, so we'll just toggle between, but we are saying 159.50, and we are going to divide that by 16.95. That gives me 9.410. 9.410. Let's go back where we want to be. So we're saying this is 9, hold on, there we are, 9.410 cans. So now I beg the question, have you ever bought a fraction of a can? Do you think it's possible for you to go to the shop and say, hey, I want 9.5 cans of condensed milk? No, right? So I know this should be a whole number. So I need to now figure out, why don't I have a full number? If I look at my text, there's this item here that I did not take into consideration. And that is the one that it says it is less a promotion of 1 rand. Now, my question to you is, if I'm saying it's less 1 rand, remember I've now got cans. I don't know how many cans I have. I have two scenarios. It can either be all of them minus 1 rand, or it could be minus 1 rand, minus 1 rand, minus 1 rand, minus 1 rand. So the question is, which one would it be? I wonder. Okay, let's approach this from a different angle. Let's say I'm going to multiply. If I say 16 rand and 95 cents multiplied by 9, how much do I have in order to get, because this is the amount that I paid, right? So let's do that. I'm going to say 16, let's clear this up. 16.95 times 9, that gives me 152.55. This is 152.55. That is less than 159.50. And I did pay this. So this is not possible. It is too little. Okay, so that's 9 cans. Let's try 10 cans. If I say 16.95 times 10, that is going to give me 169.50. That is more than this amount. Okay, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. What is the difference between this amount and this amount? Now remember, the word difference in mathematics means subtraction. So if I say 169.50 minus 159.50, how much do I get? I get, 1. I get 10 rand. The difference is 10 rand. Now begs the question, can you connect this 10 rand with these 10 cans? With this 1 rand discount? If it is 1 rand discount for 10 cans, then that means it's going to give me a total of 10 rand discount, which means that in the end, it is 10 cans. So what have we concluded? We now have concluded that if it is 1 rand difference, we could say 16 rand, 95 cents plus the 1 rand per can gives us 17 rand, 95 cents. Okay. And if we no, nope, wrong way around. That's the wrong way around. Okay, never mind that. So we've concluded that in actuality, the price that we've paid is 159.50, but the real life price is 169.50. So the answer to question 1.2.2 is 10 cans. Remember now, this one is 3 marks worth, so that requires your calculations to be present. Question number 3. Calculate the missing value of A. What is A? Let's have a look here. A is total that includes VAT. Okay, for this, you're going to use the formula I gave you. So we are going to say, question 1.2.3, we're saying total excluding VAT plus VAT is equal to total including VAT. Do you have a total excluding? Yes, there's the words, and that amount is going to be 289.52. What is your VAT amount? That's given to you. That amount is 29.07. And if you add those up, you get this amount for your total including VAT. So let's do that on the calculator. Clear up. 289.52 plus 29.07, 318.59. So total including VAT is 318.59. Double check. Yes, 318.59. All right. So that's question 1.2.3. Let's do 1.2.4. Calculate the price per kilogram of sweet corn. Okay, let's break this down. Sweet corn, or let's change our color. Let's go pink. Okay, first thing we want to do is identify the item on the receipt. So there we go. This is our sweet corn. And we want to know price per kilogram. Now let's talk about that before we do the calculation. Whenever you hear the word per, or in this instance, you have got price per kilogram. This word per is an indication for you that you are working with a rate. What is a rate? A rate is an expression of two numbers. It's normally a fraction. So a rate will be a fraction of two values with different units. Let's take this for example. Price, the unit is going to be rand, and kilograms, the unit is kilograms. So you have rands and you have weight or mass, and you are comparing the two. Now, when you write a rate using this per is now doing it in English. If you do it in math, you will normally do a slash like that, and you'll have rands per kilogram. For example, if I'm buying fuel, I will pay something like 25 rand per liter of fuel. The other thing you need to know about a rate, it is normally to a base of 1. The denominator is 1. This means that when you are giving me a rate, you are telling me how much 1 liter costs or how much 1 kilogram costs. You will always have a denominator of 1. So if I give you a rate of 75 rands per 3 liters, you need to simplify and give me a denominator of 1 by dividing everything by 3. Okay, so price per kilogram. The other thing, remember I said it's a fraction. This forward slash actually is a fraction line. This is the same as putting 25 rand as a numerator, your fraction line, and 1 liter as a denominator. So that forward slash is actually a fraction line. So now that we understand what is a rate, we understand what we need to calculate. This means that my answer is supposed to look like this. It's a fraction line because a rate is a fraction. On the numerator, I'm going to put the price. The numerator comes before, so the price is in rands. And then the denominator, I'm going to put my weight, which is going to be in kilograms. So I know my answer needs to be a fraction with rands on the top and kilograms at the bottom. Now I need to input my values. I'm going to go to my statement and I'm going to see how many rands do I pay. It is going to be 19,95 rands. Rands on rands, nothing's different there. So 19,95 rands, I can input that. Denominator, I go back to my receipt and I say sweet corn 135 grams, not kilograms. So now what we need to do is we need to work with this conversion. 135 grams, and we need to convert it to kilograms. So I'm not writing it in here because it's not the same unit. So when you do your conversions, you start with your unit. This can be grams, it can be liters, it can be meters. It doesn't matter what the unit is. This is your base unit. This is your unit. In this instance, we're using grams. If you are going to the right, if you are cutting up into smaller pieces, you are going to go centimeters, centigrams, decigrams, and milligrams. So if you are going in this direction, you are going to multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10. Grams to milligrams, each one is times 10, times 10, times 10. If you are going in this direction, you are going to do the opposite. So in other words, milligrams, that becomes divide by 10, divide by 10, and divide by 10. That makes sense. Now, you are not necessarily required to know everything over here. There are two here, and then the third one is going to be your kilograms. So hectare, deca, and then kilograms, but we're going to skip those two. So you have got 3 hops in this direction where you divide by 10, divide by 10, divide by 10. But how do you hop all 3 in one go? How many zeros are this? It's 1, 2, 3 zeros in 3 hops. So if I hop from grams to kilograms, I'm going to divide by 3 zeros, which is 1,000. That is the same as doing 3 tens, is the same as 1,000. So it's 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, so what does this mean to you? How do we get from this grams to kilograms? You could very easily just put it in your calculator. You could say 135 grams divided by 1,000 is going to give you the kilograms. But what I want to show you is when you are doing this, if I take 135, this number has a decimal place. There is a decimal comma on this number, even though I didn't write it down. And this decimal comma is at the end of the number. So mathematicians are very lazy. They don't write things that they don't have to write. So all numbers, if you see a number and there's no decimal comma on there, just know that it is behind the last digit. So since there's a decimal comma there, and I want to, let's start with dividing, okay? So if I want to divide by 10, okay, so if I divide by 10, what I'm going to do is notice that I'm going in this direction when I divide, right? So I am going to move this comma. 10 means 1 0, one place to the left. So my comma is going to be there. So if I divide by 10, it becomes 13,5. If I divide by 10 again, I'm going to move this comma one place. So now it becomes 1,35. So again, that is divide by 10. We divide again. And we need to do it one more time. Divide by 10. The third time, right? So now I'm going to move this comma one space to the left, which means I'm starting with a comma 135. But I cannot not have a number here. So this number is 0. This is the answer you will get from your calculator. Let's do it in one hop. If I say 135 divided by 1000 without a calculator, I'm taking this decimal comma here and I'm moving it 1, 2, 3 places to the left. Let's go. 1, 2, 3 places. My comma must now be there, which means I need a number there. So this becomes 0,135. And that's my answer in terms of kilograms. So I can go back up here and I put it in as 0,135 kilograms. I hope you understood. Let's do the same thing with multiplication. Let's say 135 and we want to times 10. So my comma is there, right? And again, as a mathematician, what I don't write down is after this comma, there are actually digits. There are an infinite number of zeros. It can go on until eternity. So I don't write them because I don't need them. But since we are going to multiply now, I'm going to need them. So what's going to happen is I'm multiplying by 10. This comma must move to the right because I'm multiplying. And it's going to move one digit to the right. So 1, 0. There we go. So this then becomes 1350, comma, dot, dot, dot. Let's do it again. If I multiply by 10, this is going to move one space to the right. So it becomes 13500. And if I do it one more time, then this comma is going to move to the right one space. It becomes 135000. So this is times 1000 and this is divided by 1000. So I hope you understood that conversion concept over there. Now let's answer the actual question. Okay, so the question says, what is the rate per kilogram? And what they're asking you is, how much does 1 kilo cost? And let's input this data into our calculator. So we said it is 19,95, and we're dividing that by 0,135. The answer is going to be 147,77 recurring. Okay. So we didn't discuss this in class, but we also need to talk about rounding off. 147,7777777 dot 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 until infinity. You cannot give me an answer like this. So this answer is going to be rands per kilo because it's a rate. But you need to round off for me. So when we're dealing with money, money is always to 2 decimal places. Even if it's a 0, it's 2 decimal places. This means that we are now, how do we round off? I hope we know, but let's go through it. When we round off, we use the Hill method. So you are going to find, I'm saying 2 decimal places. Here's my decimal. This is place 1. This is place 2. So this is where I want my number to end. I'm going to underline the one that I want to round off to. Then I'm going to look at the one next door. The one next door is that 7. And that 7 decides if I round up to the next number or if it stays the same. Now, I hope you remember the hill. There's a hill that decides rounding off. And the hill has got numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 means it stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 means you're going to go to the next number. So I'm looking at this 7 and I'm deciding where's the 7. The 7 is here, and since it's 7, it means I go to the next number. The next number of this is 8. So this number rounds off to 147,78 rands per kilogram. 1 kilogram of sweet corn is equal to 147 rand and 78 cents. That is your answer for question number 5. I am going to stop there. We're already 30 minutes in. I'm going to stop there and then I'll do a video 2 continuing on this. But I hope that you understood. So if you have questions, make sure that you know what you're asking and then we can discuss in class. And then video 2, we will proceed with the rest of this exercise. All right. Click on the subscribe button and the like button so that you get notifications when I get new videos up, and that's going to help everybody. See you in the next one. Bye now.